There is a very high chance that at one point in your life, if you're working in your business or you're advancing in a career, that you are going to be burnt out from all the work, from all the micro tasks, from the big macro goals that you're doing, that they're just exhausting you that much that you are going to get depressed and ultimately burnt out. You notice this by the symptoms of you don't have any energy to do the things that you love doing, like working out, self-development, reading books, meditations, whatever social interactions. You don't want to meet people, you don't want to hear their stories or talk with them. These are one of the symptoms of being burnt out, and it is a danger of getting depressed eventually. But you set those goals in past, right? Which means that they are important, and this momentary state of low energy and bad mental state should not be the obstacle for you to pursue your goals, right? So the topic of this video is how to keep on going, how to be productive in your journey when you are even when you are depressed or burnt out. So there is a couple of concepts that I want to share with you. The first one is the spinning wheel of growth. So it's like this constantly spinning, and it has all of your routines, your habits, your tasks, and the little things you do in your everyday life, right? That will keep the momentum of that wheel. These are like the little tasks in your everyday life, like maybe doing that one video script, or in your job, maybe like it's making like 10 phone calls a day, or even like 100 phone calls a day, right? All the things, all the little things, the little steps that propels you forward to your bigger goal, to your macro goal, right? And all of the things that you're doing, all of those little steps of actions you're doing will keep on spinning the wheel of your growth, which means the little things will propel you towards the bigger results in the future. That's how you quit bad habits. That's how you build some kind of a meaningful business or advance further in your career, right? You can't just take this one big leap of doing that one thing and hope it's going to succeed, right? Because it's too big, you just can't handle it, right? What you're gonna do is just take the small steps on it, right? And keep on doing those until you get that one big thing that you always wanted, whether it be like a business dream or getting that new job position or whatever, right? You can't take that one big bite. It's not gonna fit into your life, and you can't handle it, right? So yeah, do the small things that will lead to the fulfillment of that one big thing in your life that you want, right? So why is this important? In the terms of being productive when you're being burnt out, is that when you are getting burnt out, you don't want to do the things, you don't want to do the shit, right, that you used to do before. That means the speed, the speed of your growth wheel is slowing down. It doesn't move that fast anymore, right? And it may ultimately stop altogether because you're not doing the necessary important micro tasks at a day that you used to do to propel you towards to your higher purposes, to your goals, to your mission in life, right? So yeah, like mentioned before, it could be I don't, like the very basic, simple things like gratitude journaling, meditations, being physically active, like running, walking, getting enough sunlight, socializing, doing those little tasks of the more important work that you need to do to propel you towards, right? And if you don't do them, your spinning wheel of growth will stop. which means that it is very, very hard to start this wheel to spin again. Like this is like an analogy of like merry-go-round or this carousel of in a in a park, right? Where you had to like work hard, you had to grab on the handle of the carousel and run along until it starts spinning, right? You had to use like a lot of work and force and strength to keep it up to start the wheel spinning. Well, it's a you can also imagine like with another analogy of like this space shuttle, right? It uses the most amount of fuel on its start at the beginning of its journey, right? When it's leaving the Earth atmosphere to escape from the gravity, right? It is really hard to get that. It's a lot more force needed to get that initial start, right? So but there is like a better option to keep the wheel of to keep the spinning growth of wheel spinning, because why would you like let this? Why would you let your progress to come to a full time stop when you have done so well in the past, and now this the period in your life that you just don't want to do shit, right? Why would you let that stop you from life? Why would you let the problems hold you back on working towards your bigger goals, right? So what you're gonna do is, I'm gonna take this off right here. You're going to use just the 1% effort. Not I explain right this right away. So what it means is that you're going to use like the 1% or like 5% or maybe 10% effort on the things that you used to do but you don't do them anymore, like your habits, your routines, your work, whatever it might be, your everyday tasks, and so on. But you remember like you used to like work out for like maybe 2, maybe 3 hours when you hit the gym, right? And you used to run for a warm up like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but you don't do that anymore because you don't want to, because you're burnt out, you don't have the energy, right? But the but since you know that this is one of the most important things that will keep you active, that will keep the momentum going, because when you work out, when you're mobile, you are physically more healthier. Therefore, it means you are uh, more active also in your productive work. You can do more work with your projects and your business as well, or school projects, or whatever the work might be, right? So what you're going to do is just use the 1% effort on those, or 5%, right? As a, as a as we talked about in a gym, like working out or running, uh, you're going to like instead of running for 20 minutes, you're going to run maybe 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, and instead of like working out 2.5 hours, you're going to work out at least 20 minutes or something like that. Why? Because it's better to keep on rowing the boat to your goals than just stop than just stopping and getting stranded in the middle of the ocean, right? You're in the middle in the journey and all of a sudden you're stopped because there is a one hell of a big storm that you're now having to endure. You had to deal with the storm, but at the same time you're just using 1% effort to keep on rowing your boat of growth, to keep the momentum of your growth spinning wheel going on. You're not stopping your boat, right? You're just slowing the rhythm of it, the rhythm of your rowing. You're just slowing that down, and you're not you're going slower, right? But you're not. in one place. When you move forward, you will experience more than instead of staying in one place and hoping that the storm will pass and until you gather and recover, get your strength up, and then start on rowing the boat again, or to get the wheel of a growth wheel to spin up again. So that's what I did, because I experienced my burning out from work the last year, exactly a year ago, where I just felt like this dread of having to go to work, having to do the same boring tasks. I just felt like that my work isn't fulfilling enough to me. It was so soul crushing, and I just didn't want to have any kind of a you know thing or meaningful effort to do that job. So I felt pretty bad, depressed, and I noticed that I started to feel the same feelings towards my everyday tasks or the things or habits that I used to love. And I found myself that I don't want to go to work out, man. Fuck that. I'd rather be in my room and watch fucking TV shows or movies all day, because I don't want to do anything. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to do this or that. I don't want to do anything that makes me spend more energy, because I feel like I don't have any kind of energy at all. But that is not the case, because it was all mental, and my body was actually quite capable of moving and doing the necessary physical tasks that I needed to do, right, if the need came, right? So I started to implement this thing of 1% effort. I remember the first time when I tried this. I went to the gym against oh my god, it's not never going to work out, because I'm so messed up mentally. I don't have the mental capacity to force myself to work out and to be disciplined, right? And what's the fucking use of running in 1 minute or 2 minutes on a treadmill, or do 50 or 25 minutes of workout? But it was quite beneficial, actually, because I felt so much ease on doing that. The mental constraints of the burdens of the big the you know the that you're having to do the big task of running 50 or 20 minutes, working out 2 hours. It seemed like so big of a task that I just don't want to do then don't want to do it, and just abandon it altogether and rather not do it. But doing the 1 or 2 minutes of running was incredibly easy, and doing 20 to or 25 minutes of workout was also incredibly easy, and it freed up my this mental capacity. I don't know what it exactly did. It just freed up my willingness to try to do this again, because it was such a low effort, such an easy way to keep on rowing, to keep on pushing that wheel of growth, that I found that I can manage that. And I can manage to keep on giving the wheel of growth, manage to keep on giving the wheel of growth spins, right? But it wasn't the hard spins and the strong ones. It was the slight pushes, right? To keep it moving, to not really stop. Because I don't know how it is about you, but having to getting to going to stop your goals or progress or everything, or all the process you have, and restarting them. I don't know how easy it is for you, but I find that it's probably very difficult, and bothering, and needing to do the extra work again to start your wheel of progress all over again, when you have used to when the period of in your burnt out theme. How I don't know how long it lasts. Like in that time when you're like this lazy motherfucker who doesn't do anything, right? And it's incredibly hard to start working again because you're like now so used to like staying in this sedentary lifestyle or just being complacent, and it's you feel like you don't want to start this, right? Or you feel like it is so much work. I just rather maybe skip it this day, or maybe start tomorrow if I have a better mood or have a better feeling, right? So there are all the things that that come up with this thing of having to restart your goals, your progress all over again. Then just keeping on rowing, keeping on this spinning wheel of growth by just giving it pushes that are not so big in an effort, but you're still doing the little work while you're dealing with the storm on the sea, where the storm is like you're managing your burnt out and your depression, right? So and I kept on doing this for like 1% effort on my routines, my everyday tasks, on like a couple of months. I noticed that I feel a lot better. I noticed that it's like so much more easier, like smooth to give a low effort, small effort instead of a one big shot that I used to do before. Then instead, like trying to stop altogether, recover, regain my strength, and having to restart this again because I'm already moving, right? So it's much more easier to add on more speed while I'm like moving already than instead of you know preparing to get to moving, right? I hope you understand this concept of like the energy expenditure of having to start the movement and having to add on more speed while you're already moving, right? So and at the end, I noticed that I started to love doing those things again that I didn't want to do anymore because I was giving the 1% effort, and later I just started giving like 2%, 5%, 10% until, according with the progression of getting out of depression and healing myself. Well, what I had to deal with the big storm, right? Well, changed my, I just reduced my workload by 50% and later moved to a different position where I feel a lot more better, right? I have no stress in there. I have no anxious. I can just count on myself and not having to rely on anybody else that makes me feel like having to do extra work because they're missing or they didn't make it to the shift, right? And just having to do all the work while they are absent, right? It was like one of those major things that caused me to have this burning out, right? So what is the takeaway on this? Is that it is better to move slower than not move at all. It's from the book called Compound Effect. It's a book about it's a book about it's a book from Darren Hardy. If you want to look it out, it's a good book. And while you do that, when you're just slowing down your rhythm, your speed, your momentum with the spinning wheel of growth, uh, you're not abandoning your important goals. You're still doing them, and and the achievements of still doing the tasks and from those accomplishments, they will still give you the meaning of success, fulfillment, and the marks on your journey that you had completed this task. You still completed that task, and you still did that, although while you're being like depressed and fucked up mentally, you still did your progress, and it's just gives you a positive what do you call this, reinforcement on keep on doing that, and you find that you have strength to carry on doing your work even while you are depressed. It's like keep on doing the work even if you don't feel like it. That's what the YouTuber Hams always says, and I like it as well. Like keep on doing the work, especially when you don't feel like it. It fits pretty well with this. And just when you feel like you don't want to do your everyday tasks, you don't want to do your projects, and the mini projects or the mini tasks or the workings you have to do, just apply to 1% effort or 5%. Just figure out what is the most easiest way for you to keep on doing that work while you're still doing this, while you have to deal with this shitstorm at the background, right? But never abandon your goals. Do them by a little bit. Give them a little bit less effort. Well, 95% or 99% less effort than you used to do before. But never abandon your goals that will give you the growth, that will keep you progressing towards your future and keep you and like keeps you, and you know how you say this, like and keep you climbing on, keep you climbing forward in your life. So the next one, the next topic is having your, oh my god, this doesn't work at all, is having your macro goals and micro goals and tasks set up in your life. It's a pretty basic, goal setting. To emphasize the need of setting goals, because if you don't have goals, if you don't have missions, where are you going with your life? So your macro and micro goals. So what are the macro goals? Is the ones, the long-term ones. The term isn't necessary. So maybe like in 2 years, 5 years, or maybe like a couple of months or 1 month. It's the same, the long-term macro goals. And what are the micro goals? Is the small ones, your everyday routines, your tasks, or maybe the little goals that you have to get in order to get that big goal, achieved. Maybe they're like, maybe if you are like a YouTuber, maybe it's like making one video or 2 videos per week. Maybe it's like if you want to study and get a good grade in your exams, it's maybe like reading like every day reading at least 25 pages from your textbooks or whatever. There are little things, little routines that are productive and will get you towards your big macro goal. So why do you need to set the macro and micro goals? Well, if you don't plan your life, where are you going in life? You have like this, if you don't have a plan or a course or a destination set, you're like a ship that has no end destination, and you're just drifting on the sea forever because you don't know where to go, and ultimately you will just exhaust your energy, your resources, your power, and just die out because you're just wandering around and not arriving anywhere. Also this Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu, said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And like we talked before, it is which one is better, like having this big leap towards your end goal when you're starting from here, or you're just doing the small ones. That will get to your goal, which means you're doing all of those little jumps that you can manage, right? I don't know how it's not the best like drawing, but that's the point. Like you're more likely to achieve the things. You're more likely to achieve the thing that you want to do in the end, in the end point, right? When you just know that you are capable of jumping over those little or doing those little steps of achievements or progresses, then having to like jump over this hell of a big like obstacle, right? It is unlikely that you're going to achieve that, but it's much more likely that you're going to achieve the end goal when you're just dividing it up to smaller steps and smaller goals than just having to try to achieve this insurmountable like big ass like step at one go. The smaller steps, or well, obviously they will take you a longer time than the big one, right? Because you had this only this one big obstacle of getting your result. Maybe it's like getting a 10,000 euros per month. Well, it could be like so. How do you achieve this goal at one big leap or one big bite or one big task, right? So it means you have to like be the person. You have to have the beliefs, the skills, and the characters of that person already existing, right? To be the person who earns 10k a month, you need to have already a product ready to be sold. To be sold, you have to have like the website built. You have to have like your audience. You're gonna find your customers, right? You're gonna need all of that. You're gonna need like your project management. You're gonna need so much more, so many things that you can. If you have them all right here already, it is still hard to make because it will take time and it will take testing and if it even works. But if you just spread this out to this linear way of not the linear but just a longer way of doing things, it's just like developing skills, the maybe selling the belief systems and the character, and then making videos, right? Or whatever the thing you're doing to attract your customers, right? It's like building your channel, gathering followers. It's like maintaining your website. It's like you know customer communications before they will actually convert to you paying a customer, right? It will take time. It will take trial and error, but at the end, if you keep on doing those things, if you keep on doing those things, they will like help you to get your result of 10k a month. So, but we're talking about we were talking about macro and micro goals. What is your like base state of being? What is like your natural state of being? Your state of equilibrium. It is normal that you want to conserve as much as energy. It is normal that you are doing. It is normal that you're doing tasks, work, routines in a way that requires the minimal amount of effort. It is normal that your brain is trying to conserve most of its energy while it can by automating the repeated tasks, by making them as habits and saves them inside of our basal ganglia. That's why how we learn how to ride a bike and never having to like relearn how to do that again, because imagine how much energy it would be required, and the mental effort and work to actually relearn how to ride a bike again. So that's why we have habits to allow more energy to be spent on other mental efforts like inventing things and figuring out and solving problems and so on, right? It is just a natural state of being. So, and while your natural state is just conserving your energy, your mental efforts, your focus on the most important things, they will just push you to the state of unproductivity and complacency when you let it, because you naturally don't want to do the work needed, the really hard work that will take a long time to get you any kind of a reward, right? It's like this a constant battle every day of having to convince yourself that what we are doing today is for the greater good, but our brains just are used to like wanting this reward like right away without having to do that much of work and trying to automate as much of it as he can and find the low way or the minimal energy spent way to do that thing, right? So imagine how hard it would be if you at the same time you are depressed, you are burnt out from your work, and how much your brain is working against you in the terms of working towards your meaningful goals that you have hopefully set in the past. So what I mean to say by that is it is much more difficult to follow your macro and micro goals when you're depressed and burnt out, and they are even more important in that phase of your life to like keep on following them. So as I can talk about my previous work experience again, when I just felt like something is off with me, I just didn't want to do anything, right? I was feeling like shit, tired, like a zombie, emotionless, didn't want to communicate to anyone, and I just started to search for the symptoms and what they mean, and found that they are related to the state of being burnt out, depression. And then I went to my doctor, and he confirmed my suspicions. I have symptoms of burnt out and getting into depression. So he told me that there's only two ways. You can get on the pills, or you can just get the hell out of that environment and find something new. At the time, I didn't have the option of leaving the job because I'm still attending my school. I need some income to pay my school bills, right, and everything, right. It is not that I can just quit my daily job and find another one in the same month. So I just said that is not an option, and he told me that well, then you can try out the pills. I said no, I don't want that. I said that and promised that I would try to do something about my job. So I prioritized on my macro goal at the time, which was to find a way to change my environment in the workplace. So I reduced my workload I reduced my workload. Only worked on the night shifts where I didn't have to talk with anyone. The and the daily activities were a lot more less. I didn't have to do a lot more work. I just sat on a computer and just did my routine checkup of the things that I had to do in my work, and it was easier, yeah. And also, kept on doing the micro goals of my things that I used to do, but didn't want to do anymore. And the micro goals for that time was just the same: working out, meditation, reading, self development, working out, daily walks, and so on. I knew that they are the ones that will support my macro goal of getting out of the burnt out and depression in the most natural way as possible, because I'm not going to be taking any fucking pills, right? I know I have heard that they have helped my other people, my friends, my other colleagues, but I just didn't want to take them. And the end result was like in a couple of months I was just feeling not depressed and not burnt out. I was getting my micro tasks like on like 50% of performance. And I was just feeling a lot better, every day, because I kept on doing the things that were good for me and good for my mental health and my physical health, and slowly gained back the confidence and the motivation, the will to get out of this, right? And that resulted me only getting out of my depression without taking any kind of pills, and it's just and I think it's like a very healthy way, and for me it worked, and I think it's one of the key ways like to manage your mental health is just to keep on doing the routines that are good for you, and have your macro goals and your micro goals. Now there is a difference between a goal, right? So so as we know, macros are our long-term goals, the results that we want, and the micros are the smaller ones, the everyday tasks that will support our achievement of our macro goals. But the goals are like there's like two ways to define a goal. It's like results driven goals, and these are like the all the things like you want, like losing 10 kilograms of like fat, getting that dream car or that dream house, getting that income of like maybe it's like it's getting that income of like 10K a month. It's just getting that thing, and whatever thing that you want, right? It's and the priority is the result that you want, right? And these are like the things that you want, the results of losing 10 kilograms of fat, maybe, or like building like 5 kilograms of pure muscle, right? These are all the things, or like many other things that we want that are like a result-driven goal. So that means that your mood, your happiness, your fulfillment, your well-being is all tied to that result. Now, why is this important? We all know that the growth and pursuit of goals in life is not linear, right? It's never this straight line of you getting your result while you are at the start. It's always like more like one always this fluctuating. It may go like in curves, in circles, and it may come to a hold up and then just still like grow to the result, right? And while you have your mood and your happiness and your sense of fulfillment tied to that result, imagine what you're gonna feel when you hit the low point in here, when you hit the low point in here, when you hit the no progress in this line, right? Or even just when you hit again another low point, when you have fallen back in your goal performance, right? And that is a very unhealthy way of chasing your goals, because you feel like so frustrated, you feel so bad and angry, you're angry at yourself for not achieving your goal, right? And you instead of losing like 10 kilograms of fat, maybe you just maybe gained another pound, another kilogram of fat here, then you just moved again up and loosened that, and then you fall back again, you gained another kilogram of body weight, and just leaves you incredibly unsatisfied. You're seeing that you're not getting you're not getting your results. You're like gaining body fat instead of losing that, and it's like it is like constant disappointment and feelings of failure, and it's like the constant fluctuation of ups and lows and hold stills and not moving at all. It is very depressing and failure giving feeling way of approaching the goals, right? But there is another way of getting to the goals. It is the performance driven goal. Where the priority is to follow the lifestyle, the plan, the set of actions, the way of being or doing. So that means you are setting yourself a goal to lose 10 kilograms of fat in the maybe 2 to 3 months, right? And when you choosing to set this in a performance-driven goal-wise, you're choosing to set yourself a goal that you are going to be that person who is following that lifestyle, that plan, that set of actions, and that way of being, doing, of losing that 10 kilograms of fat. Which means you're only following the action steps. That means eating healthy, that means waking up earlier, not going to bed late, that means drinking enough water, that means working out, that means maybe swimming, that means all the things that will get you to the goal of losing 10 kilograms of body weight. So why is this better? When you're following the action steps, the habits, the routines of that needed lifestyle to have that result. Why is this better? When you're following the performance-driven goal. So as we mentioned before, the non-linear way of the path of being non-linear towards your goals, where you have those fluctuations of and the low points and not moving forward at all and just staying in one place at some period of time, where you were and the results of it was you being unsatisfied, you're unmotivated, you're not seeing the results of growth right away, and you're just staying in one place. You're gaining you're gaining back the body weight, you're losing it, and you're losing 1 kilogram of body weight, and then at the next 2 weeks you're gaining 2 kilograms of body weight back, and it's incredibly unmotivating, depressing, and giving you lots of stress, right? But in the performance-driven goal, your mood, your happiness, and your sense of fulfillment is only tied to the action steps of that goal, which means that you can't feel depressed or shitty or bad or unfulfilled on the things you do, right? It doesn't matter in what kind of a way you do them or what kind of results you got from them. It only matters that you're doing them. You know, doing the workouts, doing the healthy eating, doing the whatever things you need to do to get that goal, right? Your sense of happiness, fulfillment, and good mood is only tied to achieving that action steps on that day, which means you're just basically trying to do as much of those action steps needed to get that goal, right? Which means you just follow your plan of action sets of the day. And it doesn't matter what kind of reactions your body is going through, right? It doesn't matter if you're getting 1 kilogram of body weight back. It doesn't matter if your body weight stays the same, because that is not important. You know that the state of your body is fluctuating in a state of weight loss, in a state of changing, right? And you consciously decide that you're going to follow your action set, your plan for that day as best as you can, and you derive your sense of achievement from achieving those action steps. So the inconsistencies of the journey will not bother you anymore, and it will give you this stress-free way of keep on following the plan no matter what your body is going through, right? So that's a lot more powerful, a lot more motivating for you to follow, right? Because you only have to do the action step. The only reward of a good mood you get is a sense of accomplishment from your daily important tasks, right? Which are the things you need to do, like working out, healthy eating, other healthy habits, and those things, right? So, what is the takeaway point on this? Is to have your macro goals, a micro goals set by even given periods to follow them. That's as simple as that. You will get better results. You get faster and better results if you have a plan and try to follow it as best as you can. Then instead of not having a plan and having to work out big things all together at one setting and then try to do something and try to take on that big unleapable leap. Then instead of dividing that thing into smaller steps and just stepping over that little obstacles one by one and then getting much more done, and the mini victories and the mini accomplishments from getting your smaller goals done, all because you have a clear assignment to pursue, and you freed your brain from the extra work of spending mental energy to try to figure out and try to decide what to do next and what to do now, which is our next topic. So the next concept is brain points. Conservation. This is the concept that was, I heard it from the YouTuber called Hamza, if you want to check this guy out. He's a pretty great guy. What he talked about was this way of thinking your brain energy, your mental efforts on any given day, as you have a set of points, a set of brain points for every given day to be spent. You spend your mental energy, your brain energy on every day, on many different things, on everyday decisions, tasks, and important mental work, right? So imagine that you're just in your free day off. You want to do some productive work the next day, but you don't set a plan, or you don't decide beforehand for the next day what you're going to do at that day. And as you may remember before, our brain is designed and primed up to go through life and through things in the most minimal effort as it possibly can, right? That means that you're waking up the next day, you're deciding what you're going to do or what you're going to watch on your iPhone. That's like minus 2 points. So you decide you should do your morning routine because you spent like a significant amount of time in scrolling through like social media, and you decide to do some like I don't know, maybe a little workout, maybe something like that. You do the routine, right? And then you will decide what you're going to eat. You go down to the kitchen, open up the fridge, and look what kind of options do you have. You could think like, oh, maybe I could have an omelet. Maybe I could make an oatmeal. Maybe I could like fry some eggs, or with maybe with bacon, or maybe just have some leftovers from yesterday's dinner. That's like minus 4 points of spending your brain points as spending your mental energy. You can see that, right? I hope you can. Then you will cook something up. You cook something up and you eat. Then you go back to your desk and you decide what kind of a work you should do today. Maybe you should work on your school project. Maybe you should work on your maybe side project. Maybe you should entertain yourself with something. Maybe you should watch some kind of TV show or movie, or just watch some YouTube videos, or maybe play some kind of a computer game too, because you just feel like it and you want to do that. And that's like minus 5 points of brain powers, of brain points lost. After you do whatever you set yourself to do, and then you decide to finally go for a walk, right? And you decide whether you should cut this corner right here, or to go that way, or to go that way, because you want to see that and you want to spend more time in the fresh air, or you just should go back to the home and hoping that you can catch up on work again, or just trying to avoid that the neighbor's dog, or just trying to maybe see that neighbor's cat, or like maybe hoping to meet that person or that neighbor of yours you're like greeting all the time, or maybe you should like take a longer route. That's like again minus 4 points of brain points lost, or the one little decision making that spiraled, like that went on, like spread out to like one like 10 or 20 other micro decisions of that one thing, right? So you get back from a walk and then you decide to go to the gym, and you arrive at the gym, and then you decide what kind of a body or what kind of a workout you should do today, and you end up choosing the most least exhausting workout that you feel doing at the moment, which is not necessarily the best one that you need to follow at the moment. Maybe you have maybe you always wanted to like improve your shoulders more, or like get bigger arms, but instead you choose like to like do some a little bit of legs and like the general bench press, and a little bit of a leg workout and some abs, and other things like that. That's again like minus 2 points. So you arrive back at home, then you decide what you're going to have for dinner. And again, you open the fridge, you look what you have. You choose different. You choose between different options. You could maybe have like steak, maybe, or maybe, or maybe cook up some frozen meal, and you think like, oh, I have those things there. I could make this, and I could use that from last day's meal or something like that. And that's again minus maybe 3 points. So you eat up, and you have a little spare time on your computer to work towards your goals or your everyday tasks, right? And you decide whether you should work to do that, to finish up that school project, or to finish up making that YouTube script because you want to be a YouTube producer. But you choose to watch another movie because you were too tired from deciding that much, or prioritizing and adding the benefits of achievements towards different kind of works, and just now want to escape from deciding altogether, and you watch some kind of a movie. That's again -3 points. And now you go to bed thinking that you should have been more focused on your most important work on the day, and you feel like you have wasted your day and not doing anything meaningful and to give you a sense of accomplishment and fulfilling. And you haven't moved any closer towards your goals, maybe in a little bit, but you know that you could have done so much more, and you're just angry at yourself. Why? Because you have no motivation or will to do the actual necessary work to get closer to your macro goals. Because you have spent all your mental energy, your brain power on those mini bullshit decisions and and rationalizing and thinkings that just cost you that much of certain brain power that you are left with none at the end of the day to do the actually important work that you want and need to do actually. You lost over 20 brain points in in those bullshit decisions that are not really nothing. You just you decide on one thing. You just then start to compare the options and you let your mind wander, and then you have to decide over that or those things again, and then another thing, and it's so much brain activity on one little decision that and that much focus spent on that one little decision that you're cruising away from your most important thinking of that day, which is to think about and spend your mental energy on actually doing the work or whatever creative work that you need to be doing actually. All of those mini decisions in that day will just cost you over a certain amount of energy, which we can see here over 20 points of brain points lost. So let's take a look at the other example of the other guy. So at the previous night, he goes to his computer and he plans out the next day before. He is planning out the exact set of actions or the tasks or the things that he's doing, even when he's going to eat, when he's going for a walk, when he's going out to work out, when he's going to have dinner, what he's going to have for dinner, all the things and what and how. So that's going to spend him maybe -2 points to get together that plan. He's just using an Excel spreadsheet and he's just writing out the plan, the set of actions, how, when he's going to do tomorrow, and at what given time he's doing them. So then he wakes up the next day. He does his morning routine, which is 25 pull-ups, 25 push-ups, 2 minutes in the cold shower, 10 minutes meditation. Did he decide on that? Did he thought about those options, what he could do at the moment when he woke up? No. He woke up and he already knew what he had to do. And if he didn't know, he just had to check his Excel table for that day, what to do at that time. So did he spend any kind of significant mental power or brain points on that? On deciding and making those mini decisions on that, on those big decisions? No. So there is no brain points to be spent on that. Next he cooks. Next he goes in the kitchen and cooks steak and eggs. Again, did he lose any kind of brain points? No, because he knew beforehand that at 9 a.m. he is going to have steak and eggs for breakfast. no brain points lost because he didn't have to decide, right? He just he knows exactly what he has to do and just follow the plan. So he's up. He goes back to his computer, opens up the computer, and starts working on his most important micro task. Maybe that's writing up that home assignment for school. Maybe it's writing up a YouTube script for his next video. Maybe it's editing his previous video. Maybe it's like recording a video. Maybe it's doing other things. Maybe it's designing the web page for his product that he's wanting to sell or whatever, right? That's gonna cost him like 12 brain points. And then once he finishes up with that important work of the day, he still has work to do. He is doing his schoolwork also, which is like minus 2 points to finish up that home assignment for his school project, right? So next he has done that. He's going out for a walk in a pre-planned route for 40 minutes. Did he lose any kind of brain points on decision-making process? No. He had that plan already set out before, and he just knew what time to follow the plan and just simply do it, right? Then he comes back from the walk. Then he goes to the gym, and he trains upper body at that day. And again, did he lose any kind of brain points on wondering and thinking and choosing between options and deciding between what kind of a body parts to train in the gym today? No, he also already knew what he's going to work out in the gym, and he's going to work out even more productive and manages to save even more time because he already knows what kind of routines he's going to do and how long, and that's it. He goes home and he has chicken for dinner because that was also already decided before. And again, he doesn't lose any kind of brain points to deciding again what kind of a food he should cook and how to and what is the best way to prepare it and how he should prepare it and so on. Next, after he finishes up with his meal, he is going to edit his video until 10 p.m. and upload it at the next day. So that is again like minus 12 points of brain power lost. And once the clock hits 10 p.m., he is taking his Excel table up again and decides for the next day what he's going to do at any given hour and what and how. That is again like minus 1 point. Then he goes to bed and he feels like he has moved a step closer to his goals. He has accomplished the most important tasks that he knew he needed to do at that day, and he feels much more fulfilled, happy, and proud of himself. Why? Because he has a plan. He has no stress between deciding and choosing his schedule at a given day. He knows exactly what he needs to do at that time and how. He just follows his daily schedule as he planned it before. And he follows it as best as he can. And he has most of his brain points reserved for the most important tasks of that day, right? Which is his side projects and his school projects or whatever they might have been, right? In those two options, in those two guys, who makes a better progress? Obviously, it's the guy who uses his brain points, who uses his mental energy on the most important things, right? It is the guy with a plan, right? I hope you are the guy with a plan. And if you haven't tried this, I want you to try this. Like, if you watch this video so long enough, if there is anything you can do right now to get the most out of this video, is just this one thing, is to conserve your brain points, right? Just make yourself a plan for the next day on the most important tasks that you need to do on that day. Write them out by time, by the clock, at any given hour, what you're going to do now, how, and what, and how, for how long. And you're going to follow that plan as best as you can. And if you follow the plan at least for like a 50% effort, 50% of a success rate, you're doing better than the other guys who doesn't have a plan. You're using at least like, if you use like a 50%, if you achieve like a 50% of success rate of achieving your most important tasks, you have achieved like half of your most important tasks. Then the guy who's not doing them at all and choosing the most pleasurable things to do and trying to avoid the most important work as best as he can and just does the most important work while he's in a good mood, while he has that green light, and when he has that green light, when the conditions are good and that thing is set up. But you're the guy who has a plan. You know what to do at that time, what to do and how. And you can allocate the most of your brain power to the most important task because you know what to do at that time. That is like the best way to get shit actually done. I'm not kidding you. If you make a plan, your brain is not coming up with the counter arguments of why or not we should not be doing that thing, or why we should do that thing instead of like doing the most important work, or doing whatever bullshit that he wants, right? And that saves you a lot of efforts and free time and free like mental energy. You can say whatever it is, like to just do the work that is important to you and not having to fight with your own brain and then trying to escape from the mental tension that it creates. When you have your daily plan set in stone, sort of, if you have written them down, what you're gonna want to do the next day, you have like nobody to argue against you because you made the decision in the last day at your best state and the best wishes for the future self. So why should your brain argue against that? You know that we made those decisions so that we can grow, so we can reap the bigger rewards in the future. And I understand that you want to do the little things now that are the most rewarding, but we can't. We promised ourselves that we've written down those macro and micro goals. We set the plan the last day, and now we're just going to follow them. That's how you should try to reason with your brain, but you're actually not, because all the reasonings and the fightings and the pluses and minuses of that thing to do in the terms of reward have already been set to stone, in sort of like you set them on the Excel table on a piece of paper, but you have set up your tasks and the things you're going to do for tomorrow. You decided beforehand what you're going to do tomorrow. That's how you free up your mental power and energy to pursue the most important things that you need to pursue and have nobody to argue against you. You can also increase your baseline brain points by having a good health, having a good gut health, by being physically active, by eating healthy, and so on, along with the meditation, and also by being mentally healthy. So what are my experiences with that? When I did not plan my next day beforehand, I just woke up the next day. I scrolled on some bullshit on social media for half an hour, maybe an hour. Then I just got hit back from my higher self, like, dude, you should be working on your goals right now, or are you going to waste all day, or are you going to work towards your goal, right? Then I just got out of bed and just do my morning routine. And when I finished my morning routine, I went back and see what I could cook for breakfast and what kind of options did I have. And then after eating up, then going back to my computer and deciding, well, what the hell I'm going to do now? Well, what kind of work I'm going to do now? Is it this school thing, or is it the project that I'm working on, or is it like a little bit of both? Or maybe I should like watch this good YouTube video on that, and or maybe I should watch this, or maybe I should find some kind of a little bit of entertainment on YouTube to clear up my head and then decide what is better for me to actually follow. And I just wasted like again like another 2 to 3 hours on doing nothing, and then just starting to read some self-help book on what I had on my one night stand, and not doing the actual work at all. It's just I was just I just wanted to escape from that work. And I wanted to escape from making that decision that, okay, I'm now going to work on this project non-stop until we reach this point. I was escaping from that and deceive myself into like doing this other uh, sort of important task, but not that important, but I was still doing something, right? I'm reading this financial self-help book, right? I'm doing something, right? I didn't get done anything meaningful. I was just doing bullshit. I was only doing my productive work when I had all those green lights of like waking up refreshed, like having 3 cups of coffee, feeling great. The outside, the sun is shining. I'm feeling good. I'm having like a feeling like this. I have like a high energy today, like high vibes or whatever. I feel like it is a pretty good day today. I'm good to go for working out good on my most important tasks. And that day only happened like maybe once a week. And imagine the frequency of the productive days in 1 month. Maybe it's like then, in the best case scenario, 10 productive days of me actually following the most important tasks of that day. And the other days, I felt a little bit of off, and I didn't do anything close to that most important task, or just like some other things that are also important, but not that important to progress me towards my goals. Like I don't know, just doing some bullshit tasks that doesn't really support my goals. But then I tried this out, what Hamza said. I wrote down at the night the plan for the next day of what I'm going to do at what given time. I knew what time I'm going to wake up approximately, and then I just wrote down I'm going to do my morning routine at 9 a.m. I'm going to have a breakfast at maybe 10 a.m. Then I'm going to do my most important work of scripting the next YouTube video for like and do that work 2 hours, then take a break, then do it again for 2 hours, then go out for a walk for 30 minutes, then come back home and keep on writing the script, then going out to the gym, spend 2 hours, maybe 3 hours in the gym, come back, have dinner, then after dinner work on my school project for like another 3 to 4 hours, get ready for bed, and write down and plan up the next day for tomorrow. And I managed to follow the plan at the first time in like 45 to 50%, and then it started to grow to like 85 to 90% on the next following days. So I just noticed that, holy fucking shit, I can get so much more done, and I don't have any kind of disturbing thoughts and the needs to decide between bullshit tasks or things that I should be doing. I know what I had to do at any given time. It was like when the clock hit like 1 p.m., I knew that, okay, this is time, I will go out for a walk. So I got ready, went out for a walk, came back, and okay, clock is now 2 o'clock. Time to work on my YouTube script again. So I did that. And at the end of the night, I was just feeling this is amazing. It's a wonderful way to get things done. I was feeling like so much more fulfilled and accomplished and proud of myself when I followed the things that I need to do on that given day. Because if you go to school, if you have full-time job, and if you manage to have like a free day on that period, and you previously think that, oh, I should be doing that thing on that free day because I can manage, right? And if you don't achieve doing that thing, you feel like disappointed and a little bit angry for yourself. And I don't feel like bad for myself anymore. And now I can just manage to do my school projects. I can manage to do my side projects, which is making videos, and also while going to work full time. Because I have a plan ahead, and I allocate time needed for every given task. And just follow it as best as I can. So what is the takeaway? Think of your everyday mental energy, your energy potential, or mental focus as in brain points. And if you waste them on meaningless, low rewards, low return decisions, mini decisions, and micro decisions on the day, you do not have enough brain points or mental focus and mental energy left to do the most meaningful tasks, and you're just arguing against yourself when you haven't set yourself a plan. So, the last theme of productivity while being depressed and while being burnt out, it is being your own daddy. It sounds silly, I know. What I mean by this, it is that it is hard to self-manage because we are so used to be given orders, assignments, tasks, and work when we were growing up by the authority figures or by the experts or by your parents or by your older siblings or by your teachers or by your boss, right? So you're used to be given tasks to get work done because you were growing. Whether or not you liked that task or work assignment or not, you had to do this because you were evaluated on the result of that work, and you grew. As in school, you were given home assignments, you were given work to study for the exam, you did the exam, you acquired the knowledge, and you managed to repeat that knowledge on a piece of paper that determines that now you are worthy of the mastery of that subject, right? But when you're now trying to pursue your own dreams, your own desires, you're trying to advance in your career or build a business, and you try to set yourself goals, but there is like this lack of going to work towards that goal, right? It's like you need some kind of a push from the back, some kind of a stimulus or some kind of a if you don't do this, then that will happen to you. by someone else, by some authority figure, right? And it can be hard to get things done when you don't have nobody to tell you to do this, to do that, or to do this thing and do that thing next, right? Or set of steps to follow towards that result that you want, or what you need to do. You have to do this, and that to get this, right? So start on doing that now. You know the task, I've given you the task, and now start doing them. Go on and work on them. If you don't, something will happen, right? Remember your school studies when you did your home assignments because you were ordered and evaluated, right? Remember your work when you do the things in a job description because your boss has written them down and you have to do them to earn a salary, right? And remember the other instances where you were ordered or given jobs or tasks by someone else. All the tasks, the commands, assignments, made you to do the work and grow, right? Even if you did not want to grow on that field or not, you still did them because you were ordered to do them. And as your natural state is to conserve brain power and effort on not doing the most important brain power demanding important tasks at a given time without a specific reason by having someone poke you in the ass that you need to do them, or if you don't do them, something bad will happen. Then you will not do them because you feel like there is no one or nothing stimulating you enough to work on those high energy demanding important tasks, right? You don't feel the mood for them, right? You don't want to. Your natural state is not wanting to do them because they're not immediate high rewards giving to you. Only when you do them, there is like a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment towards your bigger goal, right? But it's not always the case. So you don't naturally have the mood like all the time to do the most important task because it's so much more energy demanding and focus demanding. If you don't have someone poking you in the ass that you need to do this or something bad will happen, you naturally don't want to do this, right? And your like natural state is like to naturally try to wiggle out of doing that task and try to do this in the most efficient, the most energy-saving way as possible. But in terms of productivity and the continuous effort on doing the same task every day, every week until you get the result, it's simply not that good progression towards your goals, right? Sometimes you have to work and do the same repeated tasks, even if you don't want to do them, you still have to do them, right? So you manually have to start planning your tasks, your assignments for yourself, and also taking responsibility of your life as well, because no one else will. And the best way to do this is running up tasks for the next day, right? Like we mentioned before. Now, why is this important? There have been like research also made on human obedience on authority figures, like the Milgram's experiment on of authority figure obedience in the 1950s, where they tried to understand the Nazi German officers when they were burning other people in the gas chambers, right? The people who executed on command. And showed that random people are willing to hurt other people on command. Because the order came from an authority figure. And the people hurting other people, those people under that experiment, they always seek the reassurance and a confirmation from the authority figure that is it okay to press this button and electrocute the other person, the other test subject, who is just a victim. Is it okay? Is he not dying? He's like complaining and screaming from pain. Is it not? Is it healthy? Is it not deadly? Right? 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 And the authority figure who was the scientist in that behind the desk is just said that carry on the test, carry on the test. They are fine. We we need you to continue on with the test. Just please continue. Please continue. And people just giving on more electric shocks to the victim, and based on the answers on the question that they were answering. And when the questions were wrong, they had to zap the victim on the other side of the room, and voltage just went up to the maximum, and it was like over like 60% of participants gave the victims the maximum amount of voltage of from electric shocks, and regardless of their cries and their complaints of pain, because the authority figure gave them an order to continue with the experiment, right? Then that means that the authority figures like bosses, teachers, experts, parents, older siblings, scientists, or whatever, or other relatives, or other influential people, can cause you to act or behave in a certain way that is not actually good for you, and it may be actually be bad for you, just because they asked you to do so. So what is the takeaway from this? Is to give yourself your own orders, right? And the another reason why this is important from the other experiment of there is this research in the 2000s that was made by Professor Murawan with the description of self-regulatory and limited willpower. And it was, well, the point is this, is that you have limited self-control and willpower, and you want to do easy things, all right? And your brain is just trying to find ways to go through things and to go through life with the least amount of efforts and energy expenditure as possible. That's why we have habits, like we mentioned before. We have habits on a repeated task that gives us some kind of a result or some kind of a reward, and we say them up in our basic ganglia. So what this experiment was is that two groups of people who were previously like starved a little bit, they were put in the room, and inside the room there was like two bowls, and in one of the bowls there was like radishes, right, and the other bowl had like freshly baked cookies. And the purpose of this test was to enforce subjects to work on the willpower and discipline. When the scientists spread them out in a group and asked one of the group only to eat the radishes in a bowl and ignore the cookies, and the other group was asked to ignore the radishes and only eat the cookies, right? And it was the Mirawan's theory was that by ignoring the cookies, the person is spending no willpower or no self-discipline or whatsoever, then instead of the person who is having to exercise his willpower and self-discipline not to eat the tasty cookies and eat the bitter radishes, right? So the test subjects were reminded only to eat the food that was instructed to them. Then they were left alone, and the Mirawan's theory was that then those who have eaten radishes and they had to ignore the cookies had spent a significant amount of willpower and self-discipline, right? And he wanted to test this out by having those two groups of people, who the ones who only ate the radishes and the other who only ate the cookies, to solve a seemingly possible picture puzzle, which was actually unsolvable. And when the test subjects were quitting the solving the puzzle game, they would just ring a bell, right? And but solving the puzzle was actually no easy at all, and it was right. It was unsolvable, right? And it took like tremendous amount of willpower and discipline to keep on trying to solve this puzzle again after I failed the first time, the second time, the third time, or so on. And it was discovered that the group of people who had ignored the cookies and ate radishes, they spent a significant less amount of time on trying to solve this puzzle before quitting, whereas the other group, like the ones who had no willpower and discipline to be exercised on ignoring the radishes and eating the tasty cookies, right? Because why would you not? Why would you have to use willpower and discipline to ignore radishes, right? And to eat cookies, right? And the ones who ignored the radishes and ate cookies, they spent like average in double the amount of time on trying to solve that seemingly solvable puzzle, which was actually unsolvable, right? And the conclusion after the experiment was the understanding that the willpower is like a muscle, and when you use it, it gets tired out, and you can't do a lot of work with it after. So you don't have enough. So you don't have much power left to work with your willpower and your self-discipline afterwards if you have used it before. So what is the takeaway? Is exhausting your willpower to force yourself to do important tasks without planning them before also will weaken your ability to do that important work. That's why you should do them beforehand. Because having to fight against your brain and having to exercise some willpower and discipline to force yourself to work on that important task will weaken your ability to do the actual work, right? Because the work contains a lot of things that you don't want to do. And having spent that willpower, you're gonna get lesser results from it. So also my experience from this is, I remember when I freed myself from order givers as much as I can, I experienced the theme that I can't do any work at all. It's like I needed someone to, I wanted someone to tell me that I need to do this at this time, or someone to tell me that you need to do this, and that to get that thing done. I struggled a lot of getting the important work done. And it's the same with the last theme. I started to plan out my day ahead of what to do at any given time and just follow the plan as best as I can. I did not spend my willpower, my self-discipline on having to force myself now to do this work and exhausted and have less power to be spent on the actual task, right? And I just managed to get more done. And I started to become more consistent on on following my important goals, like doing this video right now. I could like let myself be carried away and do like many other things that are like more rewarding and much more better in at the moment. But I had my plan ready for that day, for today's day, and I follow my plan as best as I can. And at the end, I just learned to be a better manager to myself and managed to get things actually done. There are still some days of a little bit of slacking off, but that is just life and it is just unavoidable. Sometimes things just happen and you can't follow your daily task like completely, you know. And also I have let go the need of having someone to tell me what to do at this day or that given time to be productive. I can manage and lead myself to do the important work that I need to do. So what is the conclusion of this long-ass video is that when you're depressed, anxious, or in a low mental state, when you're burnt out, just use the 1% effort on doing the things that you used to do and not doing them before. It will keep the momentum and the spin speed of your wheel of growth spinning. Remember, you're still rowing, but a little bit of slower than you did before. You're just handling mostly that storm that you have right now, but you're not stranded in the middle of the ocean. You're still rowing, and you're trying to manage that storm, right? You're still moving forward toward life, and you have not stopped. It is much more easier to keep on adding more speed to the movable object than just trying to get that moving from the start, right? So remember to keep on spinning your wheel of growth, right? Keep the momentum going and don't let it stop. Just give it a little lighter pushes along the way, but don't let it stop. So figure out your macro and micro goals, and remember the difference between results-driven goals and performance-driven goals. Conserve your brain points for the most important tasks of that day, and do that planning the previous night in detail. And learn to be your own daddy and give yourself your own orders. Be your own manager and your own project manager, because that's what you actually need. Be a good order giver to yourself. If you want extra help on maybe quitting some kind of a bad habit, then you can check the link below. But in the meantime, just stay sharp and stay healthy.